All right, good evening, everybody. I'm going to get started with just a couple quick announcements. If everybody could make their way to a seat, I know it's a very full house, which is an amazing thing for us to see. I know it was initially the lighting of the quads, and I think a lot of folks are planning on going to that. Kind of in our favor, I see a lot of students in the audience, so thank you so much for taking the time, especially right before final exams, to support your peers that are going to be giving their pitches this evening. There's 10 teams tonight that have been working very hard throughout the entire semester. They've been having 2 cohort meetings per week. They've been meeting with strategic advisors. I'll introduce them in just a minute. And there's ventures from all different types of industries that you'll get to hear from in just a couple moments. They also just they submitted videos and had a question and answer session with a few judges that I'll point out who they were in just a minute. They're now in the back deliberating on on which ventures should get the grand prize. But again, welcome everybody. My name is Paul Davidson. I'm the associate director of the Pava Center, and I've had the privilege of working with these 10 teams throughout the semester, ranging from undergraduate all the way through postdoc. And just a little bit more about the Fuel cohort. It's the entire semester. It's our upper level accelerator, and it's designed to help committed student ventures scale up. It's a really competitive program. Each semester, about 25% of applicants are accepted to the program, and we do encourage folks that maybe applied and didn't get in. Some of you might be in the audience. We hope that you'll reapply in the future as you continue working on your venture and getting support maybe through Spark or other types of avenues. Here is the rest of our team. They can just kind of raise their hand and wave. So Anthony is the director of the Social Innovation Lab. Sephora is the assistant director of the Pava Center. I think Elena is not in the room right now, but she is the marketing and operations coordinator. And then Josh Ambrose, who's the director, is currently, you'll see him in a few minutes, but he is helping the judges decide on which team, or just kind of listening to their feedback, so then we can continue sharing that information with all of the ventures. I also want to point out that there's many folks in this room that our students probably haven't worked with, but really make sure that everything runs smoothly behind the scenes. So the director of Johns Hopkins Tech Ventures, Christy Weiskell, is in the back, and Allison Wiles she helps with everything fundraising, alumni, and I know I saw Liz Bauer and Shani and other folks. And if anyone else with JHTV, if you could just raise your hand, because I can't even see. I see Andrew and former employee. Just really, it takes a village to support all of you, and you probably interact with myself and the folks on this screen, but want to thank everybody else that's part of the organization. I mentioned our strategic advisors. If the 4 of you could stand up if you are seated and just wave, see Bonnie, Harsha, Kriti, and Reynold. And then we have probably a dozen other strategic advisors who are working with Spark and other programs. If you all could just raise your hand. I know some I see are occupied right now helping at check-in, but these individuals meet with teams weekly to help guide them, help kind of reflect on conversations that they've had, different feedback that they're getting. So they play a pivotal role in running this program as well. Throughout the semester, we've worked with our partners with development and alumni relations and just our own networks to connect over 30 mentors and guest speakers to these ventures throughout the semester. And again, that takes a team to make this happen. And we're so appreciative of all these folks for taking the time to either meet with us in person on a Tuesday night is when we met, 3 back there judging right now, and then many like one-off phone calls and Zoom calls with our students throughout the semester. So there is money on the line tonight. The grand prize is $15,000. There's a second place prize, which all of you in the audience will get to vote on, of $5,000. And then the cohort nominated the third place prize of $3,000. And then just for completing this program, each venture will receive a $5,000 non-dilutive stipend. So everything that they earn, they can invest back into their own businesses. Everything is funded from the generosity of our alumni and friends of the program. And then specifically tonight, some of the awards were funded by James and Mary Miller, the Gans Sugarman Family Foundation, and the Johns Hopkins Federal Credit Union. So we want to thank them for making these awards available for our students that are working very hard. Explained a little bit about the prizes. Tonight is competitive, but I like to say it's a celebration of all 10 teams. Everyone is walking away with something that they will get to use going forward for their business. And then one team will come away with $20,000. Our judges are currently here in the back. Charlotte Clark is an investment program manager at District Angels. Matt Hellauer is a managing partner at PTX Capital. And John Kling is the founder and CEO of Municipal Partners. They've all been friends of the Pava Center program and many other types of initiatives within the Baltimore technology and entrepreneurship ecosystem. You'll get to meet them after the pitches. They've been talking for like 20 or so minutes after the Q&A ended. So as you can see, I think they're probably struggling on selecting that top prize, which is a good problem to have. Format for tonight, there's 10 teams. They know when they're up, but I'll introduce each team. They're giving 5-minute pitches, and then we're gonna share the awards after that. You all should have gotten a ballot on your way in. If you did not get one, we'll be sure to get you one when the time comes to vote. And then we'll announce those prizes. And then something new that we're trying this year and encourage you to stay after the awards are announced is you can see the team names to my right, so to your left. And they'll be available after to answer questions, or if you are just really excited about their product or their venture or have a connection that you want to make to them, we really encourage you to do that. And we know there's so many important skills and expertise areas in this audience, and we want our teams and you all to be able to take advantage of that. Without further ado, I want to bring up our first team, Dylan and Ivana, and they're with Sankara Wellness.
Can everyone hear me? Cool. Hi, I'm Dylan Brusky, a veteran startup tech lead and app meditator from Baltimore.
Ivana Joseph, a neuro ICU fellow at Johns Hopkins, and together we created Sankara Wellness Technology.
I found out in my early 20s I had major depression. It felt like heartbreak most of the time. I eventually started therapy and medication, which unfortunately didn't work for me. I felt hopeless, and I'm not alone. 30% of such cases do not respond to treatment, and globally, depression is the leading cause of disability, costing healthcare providers, employers, and families over $1 trillion each year. Fortunately, I had a transformative experience on a mindfulness meditation retreat. I could tell from my journals that my state of mind was drastically improving, but maintaining this intensive level of practice seemed impossible at home. I found that existing meditation apps did very little to recreate this experience. Between my struggles with conventional therapy and self-help, it blew my mind that the tools for dealing with depression were so inadequate.
And I met Dylan around this time and introduced him to the neuroscience behind meditation. Key pathways in the brain that strengthen with long-term meditation are vital for emotional regulation. When we meditate, the green pathway here called the salience network, responsible for emotional equilibrium, is upregulated, while the red pathway called the default mode network, responsible for negative and ruminative thoughts, is downregulated. This enables you to observe emotions as they arise and to release them without any attachment. During the course of residency, I came across the device here called transcranial direct current stimulation, which uses low voltage to stimulate parts of the brain that are affected by stroke to accelerate recovery. Research shows that this device enhances task-based learning. So we think of it as a workout. Meditating by yourself is like exercising with your own body weight. Adding the stimulation is like exercising with external weights. Our dream was to create a therapeutic for patients with refractory mood disorder so they can downregulate negative emotions at their own will and use the skill seamlessly in daily life. And that dream came true this past year when we created a groundbreaking solution, a patent pending headset and a companion app that empowers individuals with substance use, refractory mood disorders, and cognitive disorders. We currently have a working prototype of our headset that we're developing into a shippable product. We're also planning on conducting a clinical pilot trial here at Johns Hopkins with the Department of Psychiatry next year to validate our headset and our behavioral therapy. We're happy to share the research behind our product development.
We currently have a version of our companion app live in the App Store. Feel free to scan the QR to download. With our Insight journaling feature, users write stream of consciousness style for a set period of time. Our car AI analyzes the user's entries, organizes the user's thoughts, provides actionable feedback, and recommends lessons to do in the app. Over time, the app illustrates the user's progress. Our neuromodulation headset pairs seamlessly with our lessons based on the clinically validated mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, enhancing their therapeutic effect. Long term, we see our headset as a medical device that can be a game changer for people with intractable mood disorders, while our companion app alone can serve a more general audience looking for low cost and discreet mental health care.
So why now? Over 21 million Americans were diagnosed with depression in the year 2021, and this number only continues to grow. There's research to show more than 80% of US counties have limited access to a single psychiatrist. These counties include individuals with poor health insurance, veterans, and people with disability. To meet this demand, federal government allocated about $68.5 million in federal grants to combat this ballooning mental health crisis. We believe we have the expertise to deliver a scalable solution from the lab to the market. The response to our neuromodulation headset and app has been overwhelmingly positive. Here's a picture of my dad trying our device. My dad has long struggled with anxiety and PTSD, and when he tried our device, the first words he said was, "My mind finally feels clear." About 20 people have tried our headset, over 100 people have tried our app, and we're so grateful for all the support we've received.
We plan on adopting a business model similar to other modulation devices. We can sell our headsets on online retailers such as Amazon for $300 at a $200 margin. We also plan on shipping a premium version of our companion app priced at $20 a month with different tiers of lessons, support, and social features. So just this past week, we launched our app to the App Store. Next year, we're planning to conduct our pilot trial here at Johns Hopkins. After that trial concludes, we plan on shipping a consumer version of our headset. And FDA approval is not required for this launch, though is something that we're pursuing long term. The industries surrounding mood disorders are extremely active in terms of fundraising and market cap. We believe our product can absorb a large percentage of this spending, allowing patients to take control of their care and find new hope. We especially feel that this product is important for our home of Baltimore, where mental health and substance use disorders are a major concern. Finally, next year, we're looking to raise 1.1 million in pre-seed funds in order to grow our team by hiring hardware and marketing experts and meeting our major milestones for the next 18 months. In order to meet our customer growth goals, we plan on investing heavily into content marketing. We appreciate any help or feedback that can help drive our business forward. We thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dylan and Ivana. Next, I want to bring up Oren with Coda HX, and he is going to share a little bit of what he's doing to make healthcare more affordable through. I'll give it to you to explain.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me okay? Wow, this is a big crowd. Thank you all for coming today. Let's see. Cool. All right. Nice to meet you all. My name is Oren. I'm a medical student here at Johns Hopkins, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Coda HX. So Coda HX was born out of my personal struggles with medical billing, which stemmed from the time when my grandfather unfortunately landed himself in the emergency room. Well, thankfully he was okay, but the real trouble came 3 weeks later when we get a bill in the mail. And it told us that we owed the hospital more than $3,000, which absolutely surprised us. And if you've ever seen or received a bill like this one, you know that it's not at all like your typical concept of a receipt. It's incredibly vague, giving you very little information about what you're being charged. The information that it does have is typically complicated medical jargon that most people don't understand. And of course, it can be very, very expensive. And this lack of clarity hurts millions of patients each year because they overpay their medical bills collectively by more than tens of billions of dollars. This is because of mistakes and errors in the bills that don't get caught, and also because of financial assistance opportunities that they qualify for, but that they don't know to apply. So if you're someone like I was, like the millions of Americans that have this problem, want to just get to the bottom of a complicated bill, what can you do? Well, the truth is that in the status quo, there are no good solutions. You can try and Google, and you'll find some articles that only give generic advice, or you pick up your phone and you call your provider, or you call some third-party organization or your insurance, and you'll be on the phone for hours upon hours, and sometimes you still don't get a good answer. And that's why we built Coda HX, to be the perfect solution for patients. And this is what it looks like. We have a user-friendly dashboard where patients can upload and organize all of their bills, but we do much more than that. Just by uploading a couple pictures of your bills, we'll scan it automatically for errors using our AI model that we've custom built. And if there are any errors, we'll automatically write you a dispute letter addressed to the hospital that you can send to request for corrections on those errors. We'll also automatically screen you for financial assistance opportunities. And if you qualify, we'll help you fill out the right application to make sure that you can apply and hopefully get that assistance that you need. Now, we've brought CodeHX to experts as well as patients, and the reviews have been overwhelmingly positive. They like that it's easy to use. More importantly, they like that it saves them valuable money and time. And some of these users have volunteered to be in our pilot study, which is coming up in just a few weeks, and some have even offered to pay for our product, which is always a good sign. Now, our pilot study, is just the first of many steps in our goal to reach the millions of patients out there that need help. In the medium term, we envision our go-to-market strategy to be centered around institutional partnerships with hospitals and providers who serve lots and lots of patients. And as we expand these partnerships, we can expand our feature set and services. And in the long term, we really see CodeHX as a payment platform, the right way for anybody to pay their medical bills. So we want to base our success as a business based on the success of our customers. So for patients, that means two different revenue models. One, fee for service, and the other, subscription. And for providers, we also envision a subscription package so that they can cover all the patients under their care. Now, why would a provider want to partner with us? The beauty of our technology is that we not only help save time and money for patients, but we actually help save time and money for providers as well by increasing their efficiency and by increasing patient satisfaction, which is directly tied to compensation. Most importantly, this is the team behind CodeHX. We blend a medical background as well as engineering backgrounds. We are previous founders, we publish research in AI, and we are software developers at Fortune 500 companies. And most of all, we are passionate about using technology to solve medical billing for patients. And I want to end on this note. Yesterday morning, the CEO of United Healthcare, which is the largest health insurance provider, was unfortunately assassinated in broad daylight in New York City by somebody who, by all accounts, is a targeted attack, someone who had a deep and personal grievance with the medical billing system. And I think it just speaks to how broken our system really is. And the truth is that right now, there are patients who are choosing between paying to put food on the table and paying for their medical treatment. And I see and know many of these patients every day. And so while I cannot promise that CodeHX can fix all of these problems, it is our mission to try. And so I hope that you all will join us on our journey in making medical billing right. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Oren, for that wonderful pitch. And I know pretty much everybody has experienced challenges with medical bills, or if you haven't personally, you know someone who has. The next company that I want to bring up is seeking to solve a challenge that is familiar to me working in this space, but also some of you might be pursuing entrepreneurship or just curious about connecting with other entrepreneurs. So I want to invite Jake up here, and he's going to share a little bit about his solution.
Can everyone hear me all right? All right, awesome. So my name is Jake Rasmussen, and I'm the founder of Campus Connect, which is a hiring platform looking to help student founders hire other students for their startup. So I'm a senior studying computer science here at Johns Hopkins, and I'm still in denial about being a senior. But with that being said, I've done a bit of reflecting on my time here as a student. And I think looking back on it, one of the most impactful experiences I've had didn't happen in the classroom, but outside the classroom, and that was with my involvement in a student-led startup called Split It. So Split It was a ride-sharing app pioneered by 5 Johns Hopkins computer science students, and it was an incredible experience for me not only to enhance my technical skill set, but also just to meet some incredible people within the school who really served as mentors to me. And these student-to-student connections within startups are really common and really powerful, mutually beneficial partnerships. Not only, of course, for the student founder who is looking to grow their founding team, and of course their startup as a whole, but also for the student looking to join the startup. It is a fantastic opportunity to become engaged in hands-on, engaging extracurricular activities that can help, of course, expand technical abilities, boost the resume, and just meet fellow ambitious students within the school. But thinking back to how I found out about this opportunity, it was actually through a blast email through our computer science department head. And this got me thinking that I could have missed out on this opportunity just in the sea of my Outlook inbox, which I'm sure many people can relate to. And this is how student founders are primarily hiring. They're sending out blast emails through department heads, or they are sending out blast Slack messages, which of course assumes that the perfect fit, if you will, is subscribed to one of these Slack channels, which I presume is less than likely. And in recent years, there's been a tremendous rise in entrepreneurship. So about 3 million students operate their own business and also plan to start a business after graduation. And over 1 in 3 would be interested in programs at or after school teaching entrepreneurship. So as more and more students come in with an innate interest in entrepreneurship, I see this issue of student founders not having a streamlined approach of hiring as becoming more and more apparent, which is why I introduced Campus Connect, which is an online platform to boost the student-led startup ecosystem to the next level by providing student founders with the tools they need to successfully grow their startup, and also for students who are entrepreneurship adjacent to find the startups that are happening on campus. So let's talk a little bit about the product. So we want to provide student founders with a couple key tools. So firstly, we want to help their startup gain visibility by creating easy to make startup homepages with important information, things like description, contact information, social media, events like this can all be posted on the homepage. And we also provide a fully equipped application management system where student founders can go in, they can create applications with all the bells and whistles you might expect. And once they've gone in and published these applications, students, of course, can then go ahead and apply. And once students have applied, they can manage these applications, leave grades, leave comments, things like that. And then for an entrepreneurship adjacent student, someone who's interested in getting involved in entrepreneurship, it served as a centralized hub to go in, see all of the incredible startups that are happening on campus, and see if they're hiring, or they can go directly to the source, see all the open applications that are happening, see if they're hiring for skills that are relative or relevant to their skill set, and go from there. And there's been a large demonstration of commitment to growing entrepreneurship programs within schools. And these schools here, of course, are local Maryland schools and have all demonstrated a commitment to growing entrepreneurship opportunities for their students within their strategic plans. And ultimately, these are the people who will be our customers. We are looking to charge universities, of course, not restricted to Maryland schools, but charge universities an annual subscription fee to allow student access to the platform. So of course, we're not only looking to benefit the students, but also the colleges and universities as well. And we want to provide key metrics to help track the growth of entrepreneurship within the school. Things like how many startups are being created, how many applications are being posted, how many students are on the platform interested in joining a startup. All of these are important things that Campus Connect can look to track. And also, we want to help reduce the administrative workload. So as I mentioned earlier, a lot of professors have to go in, send out blast emails on behalf of the students, and entrepreneurship centers like the Pava Center have to manually mediate connections between student founders and students who are interested in joining a startup. So we're hoping that a streamlined approach like Campus Connect could help reduce this administrative workload. So the immediate next steps, we're looking hopefully to launch a pilot with the Pava Center next semester. So be on the lookout for that, all of the student entrepreneurs here. And then from the feedback we received from the pilot, we're hoping to iteratively refine the platform from there. So let's rethink how students connect with Campus Connect. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jake. And I think by this very overflowing room is showing that there is a high demand for entrepreneurship. And I want to just point out, I see a lot of folks standing. There's a couple empty seats. So if you have one, maybe again, raise your hand so these folks can not have to stand the whole time. Raise them high so they can find. And then there's a couple seats back there. I'm not sure what the view will be like, but if you need to rest for a minute, there's a couple seats back there. But while you are doing that, I want to invite up Selena and Eric, and they are going to share a bit about their company, Fetal Therapy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Selena Shurkin,
And I'm Eric McAlexander.
and we're the founders of Fetal Therapy Technologies, a platform microsurgical device company dedicated to revolutionizing the field of fetal surgery. 120,000 babies in the US are born with a birth defect each year. But what happens in the worst case scenario when your baby develops a life-threatening birth defect while it's still inside the womb? Well, today, we're here to tell you that we have the power to repair these life-threatening birth defects before a baby is even born. Fetal surgery is a groundbreaking way to operate on a baby while it's still inside the mother, allowing surgeons to repair these life-threatening birth defects before birth. But how do we do this? Well, first, a surgeon needs to access the uterus. To access the uterus, surgeons use a device called an entry port system, as shown here, which serves as a tunnel into the uterine environment for surgeons to insert their instruments and perform the procedure. This port system is used in all types of fetal surgeries to provide the necessary access. However, the current port system used in all fetal surgeries today is actually a plastic sheath meant for vascular procedures. This technology is not meant or approved for use in the delicate uterine environment. Fetal surgeons have even told us that using this instrument in the uterus feels like operating with bubblegum and band-aids. It just doesn't work. Our own research has actually shown the failure points of this device. We've shown that the insertion of this port system causes physical damage to the uterus, indicating that these instruments might be completely inadequate for these procedures. Working with these inadequate devices causes a 40% rate of preterm birth in all fetal surgical procedures because these surgeries are performed halfway through a pregnancy before a baby is fully developed. This means that 3,000 mothers and their babies are at risk of life-threatening preterm birth when undergoing these life-saving procedures. The 60-40 split is basically the flip of a coin for your child's life. 60% of the time, mothers have the surgery successfully and they deliver their baby, and that costs about $43,000. But for the other 40% of mothers who experience preterm birth complications, they require an emergency delivery and hospitalization for both the mother and the baby, which costs about $150,000. By preventing these preterm birth complications, we can save at least $85,000 per procedure.
Making these surgeries safer means giving clinicians the right tools to perform them. That's why we have developed a novel entry port system that is designed for use in the uterine environment, as well as an anatomically accurate uterine training simulation model, and are continuously conducting groundbreaking research to advance the field of fetal therapy as a whole. Our innovations empower fetal surgeons by giving them the devices that are designed for this delicate and unique uterine environment, allowing for safer, more effective fetal surgeries. Our first product is our entry port system, which provides safe access into the uterine environment. It is designed to radially expand during the procedure, not only minimizing the permanent damage that is done during the initial port insertion, but also allowing to encompass the full range of fetal surgical instrumentation through one device. The novelty and potential in our device lies in its status as the first port system designed for use in the uterine environment. Other devices like patches and plugs have been made to try and seal and heal the uterus after intervention. However, these have failed to gain traction because they fail to actually reduce these complication rates. Our team owns 100% of our intellectual property and have already earned a provisional patent for our invention. However, because of the very high complication rate in the field today, only 5 of the most life-threatening birth defects can be practically addressed with these fetal interventions, meaning that our port system will be entering an $11 million market. However, by improving the safety of these procedures, we open the door to new procedures that can address more birth defects, expanding the range of treatable in utero birth defects, unlocking an $82 million market in the US and a $4.5 billion market around the world. As I mentioned before, we have already developed an anatomically accurate uterine training model and are in the process of developing a suite of fetal and microsurgical devices, making us a platform microsurgical device company, advancing the field of fetal therapy as we go. Between sales from medical schools, residency programs, fetal therapy centers, and microsurgical device centers, we combine our revenue streams to an $80 million figure of annual recurring revenue. Additionally, once our surgical tools have gained FDA approval, they will be robust and de-risked enough to enter other large follow-on markets, such as the disciplines of neurosurgery, microsurgery, and pediatric surgeries.
Regarding our progress, we've developed 2 minimum viable product prototypes of both our fetal care port and uterine training model, and have 2 publications in our research pipeline, with one coming out this fall and another to follow in the spring. In regards to our fundraising, we've fundraised $55,000 in non-dilutive funding and are now targeting larger non-dilutive funds to support ourselves post-graduation. We're fortunate enough to be mentored by a wide variety of clinical, technical, and business mentors across the Johns Hopkins ecosystem, and our team consists of 5 biomedical engineers, both graduate and undergraduate, with experience in business development, product creation, and research, making us the perfect team to tackle this problem head on. Now, on a personal note, I was born very premature and had to spend the first 3 months of my life in the NICU. Now, my team and I are developing technologies to prevent other families from going through what I had to go through. Please join us as we reimagine the future of fetal medicine. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I wanted to quickly go back. I haven't done this before, but going back to this slide, a lot of our teams end up going on to other pitch competitions. And I see a lot of folks in this room that have done Fuel and have done Carey Venture Showcase and many of these other things. So just, I want to say that as a moment of encouragement to everybody in this room that it doesn't end with us. We try to connect to other programs and ways to earn more non-dilutive funding. But with that said, I want to bring up our next venture, Scheduling Wizard.
Next. Scheduling is hard, and we're Scheduling Wizard, making your scheduling problems disappear. Our goal is to alleviate the scheduling pain off of teachers and doctors by making schedules for them and providing them the tools to view and manage those schedules effectively.
It all started with a casual conversation. I was back in my old high school talking to one of my former administrators. I asked him what he was up to this summer, and he told me that he was going to go on vacation with his children, but that he had to cut it short because he had to do some scheduling. I asked him what he meant. He said, well, it takes a team of guidance counselors and teachers, himself included, over 2 weeks with a blackboard and note cards to schedule the student classes. And this is instrumental for the operations of the school.
There are 58 million K-12 students that require schedules, but creating custom schedules takes time. Additionally, scheduling is heavily prone to error. And this problem is not unique to schools. Medical residency programs face an almost identical scheduling problem. Through the Fuel program, we met Ivana, who spoke earlier. She is a former chief resident at Tufts, who shared with us that it took 2 chief residents, including herself, 300 hours using Excel to create a 1-year schedule for 20 residents back at her Tufts medical residency program. Based on our conversation with her and what we knew about the K-12 scheduling process, we learned that both processes are the same. They involve gathering individual preferences, creating a schedule, and then adjusting the schedule, so we knew that we could solve the problem. We knew we could do better than the 300 hours that Ivana told us about, and so we took a second look at the Tufts residency scheduling problem, and here's what we found. Sorry. With our process, we were able to reduce the amount of time that residents spent scheduling from 300 hours using spreadsheets to a 1-hour discussion with us. This means, this shifts $11,000 in resident salary from spending that time on scheduling to taking care of patients. And so, to taking care of patients. This means that 299 more hours are spent taking care of patients rather than making schedules. And guess how long it took us to create an optimal schedule? 5 minutes and 45 seconds with our program, optimal schedule found. This saves $10,000 plus per schedule for a hospital's residency program. We're Scheduling Wizard. A scheduling firm and software provider, we create schedules so professionals can focus on their real important work that matters. Our mission is simple. Let teachers teach, let doctors treat.
My name is Sam Oberle, and I'm the CEO of Scheduling Wizard. I came to Hopkins to study scheduling, and that sounds crazy, but it's true. I developed an expertise here and at University of Cambridge in optimization and scheduling theory, and I scheduled for minor league baseball leagues, which were used and implemented in the last few seasons. I gathered a team of Johns Hopkins and Columbia University software engineers and consulting specialists to help build the best scheduling solution. What is this solution? Well, we take a consulting-based approach. What that means is we sit down with our client. We sit down with the school or with the residency program, and we say, hey, what do you need to get to the heart of your problem? For example, suppose John and Tim are 6th grade students trying to get scheduled into classes, but they had a fight in 5th grade and now can't be put in the same classroom. We can make sure that they're not put in the same classroom in any of the schedules. And then we can also provide a custom software solution to ensure that if any mistakes were to happen with any other extra changes, that you can make fixes to it as you go. This is an example of our schedule management suite. An administrator can look at every student's classes, and let's suppose a student doesn't like the teacher. They can go in, search a student, and just change the class right then and there. But they can also see how that affects the graduation progress. This is a key metric to the schools. So we provided tools for them to see how scheduling changes impact the graduation progress of each student. We have 2 key markets. We have the K-12 market and the residency program market. The K-12 market's really large, $1.2 billion annually, but it has a really high barrier to entry. It's hard to break into. The residency scheduling market is smaller, $13 million annually, but it's much easier to break into. And we're hoping to use this to develop a loyal customer base, a strong revenue model, and develop a reputation so we can break into larger markets and expand. We've gained a lot of traction during Fuel, specifically within a Johns Hopkins Fellowship Program and a Tufts Residency Program. In fact, next Thursday, we'll be meeting with the Johns Hopkins Fellowship Program, potentially to sign a deal going forward. We're hoping to sign reduced cost deals this year, and then next year, getting back into the school markets with full cost contracts. And with the funds from Fuel and future investments, we'll be completing our app, getting the necessary compliance and data security systems that we need in place, being able to meet our clients in person and run our cloud computing to get our schedules.
Schedules shape success, but scheduling is hard. We'll alleviate that pain so that scheduling time is reduced to plain conversations with us. We're Scheduling Wizard, making your scheduling problems disappear. Thank you.
All right, thank you and nice job. And our next team is also focusing on scheduling, but in a very different context. I'm sure many of you have experienced the challenge of scheduling doctor's appointments, especially, well, they'll share a lot more, but please come up, Aryan, Shiraj, and Shantanu.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out. So we're the team behind Protus, and we're working on making scheduling simple again. 2 years ago, I had a hiking accident which damaged my left eye, and despite having great insurance coverage, I couldn't see an ophthalmologist for weeks. And that's not a problem that just I face in the country. Eventually, I had to cough up my own money and see a provider out of network because of how dire the situation was. But some people aren't in a position to be able to do that. And precisely, the US medical scheduling market is a fragmented industry, and scheduling is a huge barrier to entry right now. Let's say you want to book an appointment. The average person spends about an hour and a half to get an appointment with a provider. After that, they have to wait 26 days to see the provider. And if you're not frustrated after 26 days, well, 60% of Americans are, because they end up reneging on their appointment commitments. And so we've found a way to solve this problem to make it go down from 1.5 hours to seconds.
Our assistant can talk with patients, that is you, to instantly book appointments with the right doctor while handling everything in the backend. Insurance cost, scheduling details, you name it. This is an example of what our product would look like. We just told our assistant that, hey, I'm having some issues in my left eye. What do? I need to see a doctor ASAP. And we fed it some information about a calendar, about an extensive database about the hospitals in the US. And this is what it told us. It said that based on your requirements, based on your position, and based on your calendar, I would recommend you see any of these doctors, choose your pick, and yeah, we'll book an appointment for you. So why would anyone use our AI? Well, the main thing, other than saving you hours and hours of your life every week, every month, whenever you frequent the doctor, is that it's based on natural language. You won't have to navigate annoying websites to schedule your appointments. You can just talk to the AI. It'll help you connect to doctors much more easily than you would be able to do yourself. And it'll also be extremely transparent about the amount of cost that it'll incur to you, whether or not you'll have to pay out of pocket, whether or not it'll be insurance covered, etc., etc.
So what business model do we employ? We employ a B2B2C. What does that mean? What we do is we sell to like corporate clients like insurance, hospitals, and your employers, and then they'll either distribute it to you, or you also have the opportunity to get the solution yourself. So why would insurance companies and employers and hospitals want to buy from us? Well, we help them encourage you to use preventative services, primary care appointments, instead of the expensive, lengthy, and terrible surgeries that, oftentimes people have to go through in America. So currently we're in the scheduling market, which is a $635 million market. It's growing incredibly fast, but that's not where we're gonna stop. We're gonna expand through multiple different SaaS solutions within the healthcare industry. And we believe our final destination will be the one-stop solution in the US digital health market, making it an easier navigation process for you.
So we have a pretty good horizon in terms of what things we want to do. By the end of this year, we hope to roll out our minimal viable product. We've already created an AI model and an interface to work with it. It's just a matter of distribution now. And by the beginning of 2025, we want to roll out our cost and coverage product. This means it just reads your insurance plans and gives you transparency on what appointments you're booking. And by the end of 2025, we hope to have 100,000 users sign on to our platform. By 2026 and 2027, we hope to have a payment platform set up. So not only can you see the transparency of your prices and your appointments, you can just pay it in the same app as well. And we'll continue to build and compound in this vision so that everything you need to do related to your healthcare can be done in a single platform. And we believe we have this is a perfect time to solve this problem. I think since COVID has exposed a lot of the inefficiencies within the healthcare system, especially young people who are not maximizing their health insurance plans are emboldened to do so and take care of their own personal healthcare. So we'll use a combination of direct-to-consumer marketing approach as well as social media to get young people on. And as young people sign on, as we've seen with other platforms such as Notions, we believe insurance companies would be willing to distribute our product as well.
So we realize we're not the first one into this whole market, but there's a lot wrong with our competitors. So some of them are either too technologically behind and too human-driven, or some of them don't have that customer experience. But we differentiate because we are centralizing the healthcare experience, we're identifying care gaps that you're not aware of, and we're engaging you for outcomes, not just for making little text with you.
We believe we are a great team to tackle this problem. At Hopkins, we have, because we're at Hopkins, we have great healthcare connections, we have great experience in healthcare. And Siraj and I also have a lot of experience dealing with clients with tech-facing solutions. Thank you.
All right, nice job, Protus. And we're over halfway done. We have 4 more teams to pitch. If you need to stretch real quick, it can take like a few seconds as we bring up the next team. But next is another company that is also addressing some issues in the healthcare and research system. I'm pleased to welcome up Nestor Health.
Yeah. Researchers are the backbone of the healthcare industry. They drive innovation and bring meaningful impact to the world, but the work they can accomplish is limited by the data that they can actually access. Currently, researchers spend about 45% of their time and 33% of their budget gathering data. And 85% of that time, that data does not directly correlate with their studies. So just imagine spending half your time and a third of your money on irrelevant data. But there is a group of clinicians with specific information and real-time applications for these researchers. These clinicians are private practices. However, no one has been able to penetrate this area of the healthcare industry. Private practices typically want to own and keep control of their data for the safety of their patients and their business, whereas big data companies only look to buy, own, and resell that data. This has ultimately driven a gap between academia and practice, a problem no one has been able to take on until today. MedFetch is our solution to finally bridge this gap. Hi everyone, my name is Layla.
And my name is Ethan.
And with our co-founders, Nathan and Winston, we have come up with a solution to finally tackle this problem. We are undergraduate students at Hopkins looking to find real data solutions in the real world. With the help of the PAVA centers and experts in the healthcare industry, we have created MedFetch. MedFetch is a data platform for researchers and private practices to finally communicate and share data with each other.
So how does MedFetch work? Well, it's really simple. A clinician can log in using their given credentials, like the name of their private practice and type of specialty they're under. Once logged in, they can select the exact patient data they are willing to post as listings. These dataset listings are then evaluated by MedFetch. On the flip side, a researcher can log in using their associated institution emails, like jhu.edu. After going through our verification process, they can search and find the exact datasets relevant to their studies. For example, if a researcher is studying stomach cancer in women ages 40 and above, they can simply look this up and find all the listings with relevant data. Now, once a dataset interests a researcher, they can communicate directly with the clinician who posted the listing using our chat feature. And once both parties agree to transfer the data, MedFetch handles the entire transaction process. Now, it's important to note that throughout this entire process, MedFetch does not store any sensitive patient data. And it's in these transactions where we actually generate revenue. So every time a researcher pays a clinician for a dataset, MedFetch takes a small percentage for handling the process. And as I mentioned before, Medfetch evaluates each dataset and gives an estimated price for a listing. These estimations come from three major factors: the amount of data there is, the type of data there is, and how recently that data was created. But we actually have a fourth factor: quality. So how well that data was documented. This will help incentivize clinicians to make datasets clean and ready for researchers to use and increase standardization across the board. So at the end of the day, clinicians and researchers get exactly what they want. Clinicians are able to maintain control and ownership of their data while gaining a new stream of revenue, and researchers are able to access a new set of data in a way that's fast, reliable, and affordable. So in just 2 years, imagine 15,000 users on Medfetch exchanging about 50 different data sets. Medfetch can generate upwards of $2.5 million in revenue. And that's just assuming each data set costs only $10. So imagine what we could do in 5 years. Well, I can show you just how big our market potential really is. Currently, the US clinical trials market is valued around $25.4 billion. However, we want to focus specifically on institution-based clinical trials who have registered themselves as retrospective studies. If we can capture just 10% of this market, we're looking at an evaluation of approximately $120 million.
So looking at our competitors, there are actually a lot of data collection companies in this space, but Medfetch is different. First, our primary goal is to meet the standard to ensure safe data transfer. But unlike our competitors, we're looking at a new demographic of private practices. And while we do this, we aim to verify and clean the data being given to researchers while making sure we're not owning or storing any of the sensitive patient health data for ourselves. Now, as we look into the future, our path is clear. By the end of 2024, we'll complete our pilot testing and outreach to researchers and private practices. Then, by the end of 2025, we will roll out our facilitated data exchange and recruit practices in cities like Baltimore, Atlanta, and Princeton. Then finally, in 2026, we envision a user base in partnerships with larger academic organizations like Johns Hopkins University. Altogether, we can transform how research data flows and reshape the landscape of healthcare. So thank you all for being here today. Together, we can make Medfetch the new standard for secure and accessible data sharing and communication. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ethan and Layla. And I already see our next presenter, Himanshi, eagerly awaiting. So I want to hand it over to her and to take us away.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, hello everyone. We are Ovelia and we're on a mission to empower women to take better control of their menstrual health. So let's talk about Maya. Maya has noticed irregular facial hair growth, unexplained weight gain, and has not gotten her period since the past 7 months. She dismissed her own symptoms and she did not go to a doctor. She could be experiencing PCOS. Polycystic ovarian syndrome is a serious genetic, metabolic, hormonal, and reproductive health disorder that impacts women. It is the leading cause of female infertility, and it has really bad long term consequences like type 2 diabetes, endometrial cancer, and cardiovascular disease. These are some of the general symptoms of PCOS. Moving into some of the statistics. So, PCOS affects 1 in 10 women, but the worst part is that 70% of these women go undiagnosed. If you're a woman like Maya, you are at a 3x increased risk of developing endometrial cancer, 50% increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes, and a 50% increased risk of developing heart diseases. This is really sad. You might be wondering why so many cases go undiagnosed. And the reason for that is birth control. Birth control masks the typical symptoms of PCOS, and our solution accounts for it. 65% of women in the United States are on birth control, and especially in the recent times, a lot of orders of birth control have increased, and we want to talk about how we want to solve this. So we have created a PCOS risk percentage calculator, which has been clinically validated by physicians from Johns Hopkins, which accounts for birth control. Once you get to know your risk percentage as shown on the screen, you get an access to doctors, a list of doctors that you can book an appointment with. You go to the doctor, you come back, you can upload your prescription, and that's when we give you push notifications, which result in a 40% better adherence to medication. We also have a support network so that you can talk to women that are going through similar issues, and enhanced period tracking that I will get into on the next slide. And our overall goal is to empower young women. So some of the enhanced period tracking features that we have, which are not visible, unfortunately, but the first one over there is called Period Mood, wherein you can basically click a picture of how you're feeling every day, log your emotions, log your cycle, and
On that data, we're going to predict how you're going to feel in the next upcoming months. We have the prescription tracker at the bottom over there. We also have this is the period tracker, the calendar, how it's going to look. And this is the anonymous community feature so that you're able to say whatever you want to say without feeling judged. Our competitive landscape is as follows. So our biggest competitive flow is mainly focused on getting women pregnant, and they do have a community feature, but it is paid. We have the novel PCOS risk percentage calculator. We give you direct access to OBGYNs. We have the community feature and the enhanced period tracking features, which none of the apps in this space do. Our market size stands at 65.5 million, which is the total ovulating women in the United States. And we churn that down to 15.44 million, since that is our target audience, 18 to 25. It's our network that we can easily reach out to. The PCOS North American market is growing at a CAGR of 5.2% and is expected to reach 3.5 billion US dollars by 2032. Our business revenue model is a direct-to-consumer model. Currently, Flow charges their users $11.99 a month, and we want to charge our users $5.99 after giving them a free trial of 2 months. And our go-to-market strategy is essentially utilizing this intercollegiate network of students that belong to our teams that go to different colleges across the United States, hold events on campus, tell them what they can do, tell women on their campuses that, hey, there's this app that exists and you should definitely download it. Also leverage the use of social media influencers in this space. Some of the traction we have gathered within this program is that our app is actually available on the Google Play Store, and we're gathering user feedback. We are semi-finalists in the Boston chapter of Nucleate, which is a bio-entrepreneurship activator program. We're also the winners of the Maroon and Gold Grant, which is offered by Cooper Union Incubator. And we have hosted several market engagement initiatives, especially that one is something we did at Johns Hopkins. Our Instagram account has a reach of 11,000, and we are pending IRB approval for our research and validity of the study. Moving into the timeline, so we were founded in June 2024, and by the end of next year, we are expected to launch our app along with the PCOS screening test. We are extremely thankful to all of our mentors, Dr. Seegers, Dr. Singh, and Ashley, who we actually met as a part of this program, who is helping us with the business side of things. This is our team of students that are actually sitting there in the corner, and we are very excited to go on this journey of empowering women with menstrual health. Our team is actually funded by students not only from Johns Hopkins, but from Northeastern, Cooper Union, and UC Berkeley. We really hope that you would like to join us on this journey of empowering women and letting them know how menstrual health impacts their overall life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Himanshi. And we just have two more teams to present tonight. So I want to encourage you all to start thinking about that ballot that you got when you walked in of the two teams that you would like to vote for the audience prize. We'll share some more details after the last team presents, but just if you haven't been thinking about it, encourage you to start taking a little bit of time. But next, I'm really pleased to welcome up Crystal and Justin, and they're with Kara Orkey, and they'll share much more, but you'll get to hear some music as a sneak peek.
Standing on stage with an orchestra behind is a musician's dream. I've had the privilege of living that dream, performing concertos on iconic stages, surrounded by sounds of dozens of instruments. And these experiences are inspired me to create karaoke. What musicians are struggling with is that it costs $600 to $1,200 per hour to work with a traditional orchestra, not to count the hours it takes for rehearsals and the actual performance. The alternative we have is to have a piano accompanist. They're not cheap and can never replace a real orchestra. And we have a very limited online community. Now, welcome to karaoke. We are a patent pending library of responsive virtual orchestra that can respond to what users are doing in real time in their practice rooms, as well as a concentrated marketplace for classical musicians to share what they created. Let me show you how we karaoke transform this experience. As you can see, I can record myself and listen to what I created. Not bad. Now, this is not just a musician's problem. Educators can't provide their students with orchestra experiences, and even established orchestras, they suffer. Even established orchestras, they can't. So sorry. Even established orchestras, they face the pressure of going to modern audiences. So now we're not just backing tracks, but I want to show you how we are responsive. Not only do I see you, we also listen to you. So we can adapt to your beat in your practice room. And that's not all. Let's take a look at our backstage, how we create these tracks. Different colors stands for a different instrument, and that means we can customize at any time and take out any track, and we are 100% owning our copyright. Customer profile includes professional classical musicians like myself, music students, educators, and hobbyists, but also we have educational institutions and music-related business owners that need a concentrated customer base and a vibrant online community. Our business model is subscription-based. We offer tiered individual subscription, a la carte purchases, and educational yearly subscription, and we have a marketplace for people to freely compose. Why do we stand out? Because we have a patent pending library and a responsive orchestra, all at a lower price. Timeline for next 5 years include break even at year 3 and market leadership. In year 5, we are going to new market. This include not only classical music, but pop and jazz and acquisition of other technology aspect. This will include like smart glasses where people can see a virtual orchestra in their practice room. Meet Team Karaoke. We are a team together with over 70 years of experience in piano, in music performance and computer science and marketing. And we're proud to announce our board of advisors. They are consistently following our progress. Join us at Karaoke and conduct your world.
Thank you so much, Crystal and Justin. And something again I want to highlight is this program is industry agnostic. So we have individuals, of course, many in the healthcare space being Johns Hopkins, but Hopkins also has the Peabody Institute. And the next group you're going to hear from is a nonprofit organization. So we work with really every type of business, and that's really part of the fun of the job. But last but not least, Atoyo.
Almost done. Great. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is Mei Lee, and I'm joined by my co-founder, Harry, and we are going to be presenting on our nonprofit called Atuero. So Atuero got started with a woman named Margaret O'Retch. She was on a bus on her way home for the holidays when the bus that she was on ran over and detonated a landmine. Margaret lost her right leg in the blast. Luckily, she recovered, and since then, she has been doing work and advocacy work for the health and human rights of fellow people with disabilities, founding the Uganda Landmine Survivors Association. Margaret was giving a speech as a member of the Women's Peacemaker cohort at the University of San Diego when she mentioned that the hardest part to adjusting to life after the explosion was using a pit latrine. Pictured here are two different pit latrines, simple holes in the ground used in place of a toilet in many parts of the world. As you can imagine, without the full use of your lower extremities, it's nearly impossible to use a pit latrine in a safe, sanitary, and independent manner. Margaret was explaining to us that when she got home from the hospital, she had to wait 4 days for her father to drive her 5 hours to the nearest toilet so that she didn't have to try to use her village's shared pit latrine. Unfortunately, Margaret is not the only one who has faced this issue, but when she shared it, we were two undergraduate mechanical engineers in the audience that thought we might be able to design a solution for this. So, after her speech, we talked with Margaret and got to work. In 2016, we packed our checked bags with a few different prototypes and went on our first research trip to Uganda. We returned 3 subsequent years with different student teams, each time with an improved iteration of the designs that incorporated user feedback and data that we gathered when we were there about how to build these devices in country. That led us to the designs that we offer currently, and I'll turn it over to Harry.
So these are our designs. Through our iterations and field research, we've learned the design requirements that our beneficiaries require to completely meet their needs. The solution must be low cost, portable, made with locally available tools and materials, socially acceptable, and it must also serve the dual purpose as a mobility assistive device to transport the user to the pit latrine in the first place. So, while we work in rural Uganda, this problem is not isolated to one part of the world. There are 2.4 billion people across the world that lack access to basic sanitation, and there are 1.3 billion people who face a severe disability. So there are millions of people in this intersection that do not have a dedicated solution to meet their needs. Clearly, this is a complex problem that requires an innovative solution. And we found that the two hardest to satisfy design requirements at the same time are the affordability as well as the multi-purpose use of the device. Now, there are other products on the market that try to seek to address this problem, but none of them are available to people who need them. Atuero's designs are the only devices that meet this complex problem.
I'm happy to share that so far we've been able to distribute over 300 of these devices to the remote region of Lira, Uganda. We've raised over $40,000 to complete previous phases of design and small scale implementation, and we have a 95% satisfaction rate reported by users. We've actually generated such a presence in the area by word of mouth that people are now reaching out to us and asking if they can receive a device. This has allowed us to start conversations with larger partners like World Vision and UNICEF that we will partner with to expand. They share the same mission as us to improve access to sanitation, so together we can really amplify our impact. On that note, our next steps are to solidify a partnership and funding. $60,000 would finance 18 months of operations and allow us to scale to build an additional 1,000 devices. That's tripling our impact, so that's pretty huge. Money goes a long way in Uganda, and with our solution, it goes even further.
So here's what our future looks like. Over the next 3 years, we'll be standing up 2 additional sites in other regions of Uganda, and we'll be reaching out to other countries with the help of our global partners. And we'll also be working on a next generation of device that will be focused on improving the manufacturability at larger volumes, all the while providing these 1,000 devices to people who need them. So here's our team. You've met 2 of us today, and you already know Margaret's story. She and Lawrence are our partners on the ground in Uganda, making a huge impact every day. Atuero is excited and energized for what the future has in store. And we just want to say thank you so much for coming. Please give a huge round of applause to everyone here. You've all done a wonderful job. Thank you to Fuel. Thank you to the cohort. Thanks for listening.
And can we give another round of applause to all of the teams, including Atuero, that just presented? So you just heard from 10 amazing teams. You all should have a paper ballot. If you don't, could you just raise your hands so then I think Ronald will find you and give you a ballot and make sure you can vote. So it's about 7:40. So take the next 5 or so minutes to select your 2 teams. There's no like ranked voting. So you if you select 2 teams, they each get a point counted. So you can just pick 2. You can pick 1 if you want. And then Ronald, Harsha, Kriti, I can't see her. And Bonnie will collect the ballots. And then if you borrowed a pen, if you could also give that back, please. But yeah, take a few minutes and decide on your voting. But look forward to announcing the winners of all 3 prizes momentarily.
Hi, I'm Sephora. For those of you that weren't here at the beginning, I'm the assistant director at the Pava Center. And one of the programs that I'm privileged to lead is the Spark Showcase. Out of curiosity, how many Spark founders, active or past, are in the building? Okay, it's a good showing. That's also good for my attendance. But if you enjoyed what you saw today, please know that fuel is only but a small and mighty portion of our portfolio. Spark actually makes up traditionally 80% of any of our active programming during the semester. This year, we have 35 teams participating in our showcase, split amongst 2 days because there are just that many awesome ideas. And I would say the biggest differentiator is if you saw fuel as, let's say, the cake, I would say Spark is the icing. It's a lot of students that are still validating their ideas in all kinds of sectors. There is literally probably anything you can think of and then some. And we do have a lot of really great judges that are participating, and you actually get a chance to see the Q&A and see how the judges think through an idea and help challenge the founders to think through what their next steps are. So it's a really fun time, and it's completely virtual. So I know it's very cold outside. Thank you all for being here. You can do it from the cozy comforts of your home, and please come and support our student founders. Last thing I'll mention, you all, like tonight, will have a chance to actually choose 2 winners each day from the rounds respectively for $500. So you are actively investing in the future of our student success. And if you have any questions, I'm the lady with the nice scarf. I'm happy to answer. Thank you.
All right. And if you were motivated by tonight, or if you are currently in Spark, our applications for Spark and Fuel are open now. They're open for over a month, so I know you all have finals in a couple days. But if you're eager to get a head start, both Spark and Fuel will be open until I think January 24th or something like that. It's over a month, so you have plenty of time, but encourage you to check it out, look at what's required to submit that application, and all of us are here to answer any questions you may have along the way. And one thing I want to add is Fuel this semester was in person, which has been amazing. We were able to connect every week. Next semester, Fuel will be online, knowing that many of our graduate students are all over the globe. We've had teams participate in Korea, India, California, Maine, really all over the US and all over the globe. And then Spark will be in person for the first time in the spring. So we're doing a little bit of a flip on that, but we're super excited about it because that's one of the biggest pieces of feedback that we hear is people want to build that network right here in Baltimore. So we're hoping that that will expand that opportunity. It's just some information about staying in touch. I think all of you probably will get our newsletter now from registering for tonight, but if you walked in and maybe didn't register in advance, encourage you to sign up for our newsletter. The next thing that I wanted to do really quickly is we have a lot of alumni from Fuel in the room. 3 teams sent me quick slides, so they'll come up and for like 30 seconds give a quick update of where they are post Fuel. But I also see other folks that maybe didn't see my message, or maybe I never sent it. But I want to invite all of the Fuel alum in the room to just come up. You'll have 15 seconds max to just share where you're at, share what you're doing post Fuel. But we'll start with Juan because his slide is first on here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Juan Fernandez, and I'm the CEO of Smartiva. And when I got to the US a year ago, the first step that I took was here at Pava, and this has been home. Since then, we have been working on a first FDA submission, which is almost ready. We're already connected with anesthesiologists at Hopkins for our clinical trial. We submitted 2 patents. We've done a lot of things, and we have a fully functional technology, fully functional medical device working on real patients right now. And I didn't win any of the prizes. So don't get discouraged by not winning, because the important thing is what happens next, is what happened right here. The connections that you make, everything that they do for you, they'll continue providing. This is a wonderful place. I still call it home. So thank you for this invitation again.
Thank you, Juan. And I hope that's encouraging for, again, it is a competition. Three additional teams will walk away with more money, but not every, there's 7 teams that don't, but they're still getting $5,000 and Juan is a good example of like continuing growing from that feedback from the judges. Next, John and Eric, they had a different name when they were in Fuel, but it's still the same, or grown company since then.
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm John. You might remember us as Evoked Haptics from Fuel. Now we're Navonic. Since then, we have an alpha prototype. We're shipping out 50 units in February. I think some of you are going to get those units. We're also pitching for VC in February.
Yeah. Last spring.
Yeah, in the spring.
Thank you. And Juan did Fuel last fall, so about a year ago, was on this stage. And then the next one is Semaphore. Actually, the founder of this company sent me a message like an hour before that he couldn't make it. Had a little bit of a had a conflict at the last minute, but this is a little bit of his company. It also changed names since Fuel. Encourage you to take a photo of this slide. Really what they're trying to do is, again, improve efficiency of surgery. Tito is he's a 6th or 7th year neurosurgery resident, and now is pursuing an MBA to combine that medical and residency experience that he's had. But I see a few other alums. So Evan, if you want to come up, and Mitch, Taylor, I'd love to just, we're also buying a little bit of time when they're counting the ballots, and then I'm going to bring the judges up in just a second. Are there any other Fuel alum that I'm not seeing? Oh, I didn't even see you, Iris. But yeah, just a few seconds of your name, venture, and what you've done since Fuel.
Yeah, right on. I'm Evan Haas, CEO of Curvature. Curvature was 3 years ago. I don't know, a while ago through Fuel, and that was 2 pivots ago. It's still going strong, learned a lot, and all of the customer discovery that we did in Fuel was tremendous, and all of the business model changes really do pay off over time. So make sure you stick with it for all the teams here. It will turn out good in the end. We're about to ready to launch our first product to market this next year. We've got neurosurgeons, and then we're expanding into the other orthopedic sectors as well. So very exciting stuff.
I didn't think I'd be talking tonight, but I'm Taylor Cottle. Also did Fuel like a year or 2 ago. I don't know when, but I joke that that year was when I went from a scientist to being more of an entrepreneur, because the pitches were just too scientific, and through Fuel was really the chance to build the storytelling that turned it from a science project to a company. So working on Aptobridge Therapeutics, which is building the next generation of immunotherapeutics for cancer treatment. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mitch, co-founder of Somnair. We're developing a novel, non-invasive neurostimulation device to treat obstructive sleep apnea. So since Fuel, we've built a lot of momentum. We've started a clinical study here at Hopkins, have helped to treat or look at the assessment of 16 patients, and are actually opening up a seed round of funding. And so Fuel has just really helped us to craft our story. We've taken that and then first implemented it in business plan competitions, where we achieved more validation of how we describe our product and tell about who we are. And that's really paid dividends as we move into pitching for dilutive funding with angels and VCs. So thank you.
Hello, I'm Iris. I'm the founder and CEO of Counsel AI. We are an AI-based e-discovery platform to help attorneys transform the discovery process and more accurately and efficiently build defenses for their clients. Since Fuel, which I was in the cohort last fall, we have raised over $50,000 in non-dilutive funding. We ran a beta testing program, and actually next Thursday, we've got a law firm using our product for a real case that they're running right now. So that's very exciting. We're looking forward to that. And I thought Fuel really helped me transform Counsel AI from an idea into a business. I got a lot of really great mentorship, really cool connections from the guest speakers. So yeah, thank you so much.
All right. It's always nice to have alumni come back, and actually, I think can't remember if any of you spoke to I know Iris came to the launch dinner. I think Juan did as well. And hopefully a lot of the folks that just presented will be at this event in the spring and get to share all of the updates that they've had since tonight. I think we have some time now. They're still counting, so maybe if the 3 judges want to give their general feedback before announcing the winner. I know they were deliberating for quite a while, so Josh sent me a text that you had generic feedback or like open things for each team. So I'd love to bring them up. And I know you all saw their photos on a slide, but these are 3 outstanding judges that they were still deliberating when demo day started. So if you all could, you can introduce yourselves and then share what you got to see from the videos and the Q&A.
Hi, everyone. My name is Charlotte. I'm a new-ish transplant to Baltimore. I'm here doing an economic development fellowship to support small businesses here. Just intro, correct? Feedback too. Oh, okay, cool. Sorry. Yeah, so my general feedback is really to not just to the Fuel participants. All the pitches were really great, but to anybody who's thinking about building and pitching a startup, is to really think about how do you continue to weave yourself, your credibility in whatever you're planning on doing and pitching. So that does look like the vision, but it also looks like all the work you've put into it so far. How do you weave that into the story you're telling? As you're building that credibility, no matter who you're talking to, it's gonna build trust with that person, and it's gonna show that no matter what, you're doing this thing, you're gonna do it well, and it's gonna be successful. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Hellauer. I'm managing partner of PTX Capital. We are a Baltimore-based venture capital fund that focuses on healthcare and life sciences investments. Just quick reactions from the pitches today. My gut is this was not any ordinary student pitch competition. You guys really set the bar incredibly high and exceeded it. So I was inspired. I know we were all inspired. Our debate was rigorous in there because of how great you guys were. So well done to all the teams. My one piece of feedback to give to the teams is to think about the 5-year vision for your story and paint that vision big where you could go. So if you're Airbnb, when you just start off, you're going toe-to-toe with the hotel industry, or Stripe, you're going to take on the whole payments industry. Give that traveling story and 5-year vision and get the audience really excited. You guys did that and just keep doing it.
Yeah, hi. Hi, I'm John Kling. I am a graduate of the Cary Business School. I had the original idea for the company that I now run called Municipal Acquisitions when I was a graduate student. It's been a great journey, and I have a significant commitment to encouraging entrepreneurship throughout the Hopkins ecosystem. One of the things that I participated in as an alum is the founding of what is today called the Student Venture Showcase, which is sort of the Super Bowl of the business plan competitions at Hopkins. I founded the program, worked with students to develop it, and with my buddy Josh over here, we've developed it into what I think is a pretty significant contributor to the entrepreneurship community here at Hopkins. And this is my 30-second commercial. I would encourage all of you to apply to the Student Venture Showcase this year. It's held in April. Josh, is that right? April this year?
I think so. Sounds great. It's gonna be great. I'll be there.
But my company sponsored it with $25,000 first prize. Each of the teams that competed in the past years have been very successful. I think they've gotten a lot out of the program. And we have actually a former winner here who's on stage, very successful competing among their other winners. I think each of the winners have gone on to raise that capital. Small participants have brought a great deal of value to the process. So please apply, please participate, and hope to see you all there. As far as my feedback this evening, I would just say be passionate. Let's the passion that drove you to be an entrepreneur shine through in your pitch. When you're talking about your competition, be passionate why you're better, what differentiates you, and let your personality shine through, because without that drive, without feeling that drive, it's hard sometimes to understand your passion for what you're doing. And I'll leave it at that.
And we have the fun thing that we're doing now is updating the checks. We have big ones to display that we'll have some photos with, but we want our folks that are joining by streaming to get to see who the winners are as well. So there's virtual giant checks as well. But Josh and myself are going to introduce the Cohort Prize, and then can I ask our 4 Fuel strategic advisors to come up here as well? They're going to introduce the audience prize winner. And then our judges will introduce the grand prize winner that they selected. I'll give it to Josh.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging in with us. What a great evening. Such great teams. The conversation back in the judges' room was robust. A lot of fun. Can we give them another round of applause? We're so grateful for their time. Huge props to all of the teams. And one of the things that we share with them all the time is that, this is just the start of their journey, and that we're here to help them in every step of the way forward. And I want to invite all of you to do the same thing. Please, if anybody caught your attention this evening, if you think of a friend, a relative, an acquaintance that might be helpful to them, please make that connection. Building a business is all about relationships, and it's all about those connections, and it really, truly takes all of us. So please, I've been to so many pitch competitions where the connections made were the most valuable part. And again, just as a reminder, everyone here, every team this evening got $5,000 for competing here. Let's give them a round of applause for that. Okay. The Cohort Prize is one of my absolute favorites. Again, this is where the team, all the teams vote for each other, and they give props to each other for the good time that they had this semester, the help that they offered each other. And so it is my pleasure, along with Paul, to come up here, and really pleased to announce Sankara Wellness. You got the Cohort Prize. Woohoo! Where are you? Oh, so sweet. So awesome. Cool. Yeah, just go ahead and stay up front here for we're just going to do a lineup here. We'll do more photos here in a second. Okay, with that, our interns are going to come in and announce the prize that you all picked. So did we pick which one of you is talking? Ronald, here you go. Let's get that deep voice up here.
All right. I think it's been quite an interesting journey, and you help select who's going to take this very award. So this is our goals to fetal therapies.
And go ahead and stand up. And last, but certainly not least, which of our judges is introducing the final? Thank you, Charlotte.
Hi, we're excited to announce the grand prize amount to go to Coda HX.
All right, let's give one last round of applause. Thank you, everybody. Look at all these excellent folks. Wonderful.